Hi guys, welcome back to another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. Today we are going to talk about all about Season 2, and we are joined by the one and the only Hades today. So welcome to the channel, Hades.
Yeah, thank you very much. Looking forward to chatting about some Dragonheir Season 2 shenanigans. I'm super pumped actually for the reset. So yeah, looking forward to this.
Good, good. So obviously I know you've kind of not been able to play Season 1 as much as you may have wanted to, but I know you're going to be hitting Season 2 quite hard, right?
Yeah, well, I guess Season 1, I played it a fair amount and mainly played it for sponsorship stuff. But honestly, the more I've played it, the more I've enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to this reset where I feel like I'm on a level playing field with everyone again, and yeah, can like really kind of get cracking on.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously it was the same for me in Season 1. I didn't play the beta, so it was kind of like I almost saw my first season as the opportunity to learn the game, catch up, get the heroes ready for the next season. So I guess
Yeah.
it's going to be a similar situation for you going into Season 2 as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that I crack through as much of the remaining storyline that I've got, remaining kind of bosses that I've got in season one, so that I am ready and I've got as much kind of resources as I can.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to be streaming like season two, my first view of it. Yeah, on the 16th. So I'm looking
amazing.
forward to that as well.
Yeah, that'll be good fun. So
Yeah.
in terms of Season 2, obviously, as for a confirmed date, I don't think we have one yet. But what we can see is that our server ends in 10 days and 11 hours. I know they're doing server merges. I think that's on the 15th of December, and Season 2
Yeah.
will roll out as soon as they finish.
Sure.
But as for, obviously, that's for our server. We started on global launch. I think other servers will have their server merges announced closer to the end of their season. And it'll be
Oh, okay. So all the different servers are going to split at a different time. Is that right?
Yeah, so the way it
Interesting.
works is I think they staggered releases of servers throughout the entire game. They may even be releasing them now.
Yeah.
So it'll be a 90-day period. When their server ends, they'll do mergers, then Season 2 will start for them.
Cool.
So it's kind of a bit of a weird thing because everyone's going to be on a different time frame. But
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. Actually, as a content creator for this game, obviously, I guess people are going to be getting sneak peeks before they actually get to see it themselves. Then in some
yeah,
situations.
it does pose a bit of a worry because obviously, if you're creating content for Season 2 and there's people just starting Season 1, how's that going to work? Because the
Yeah,
content we produce won't be relevant to the new players. Um, but I guess we'll see how that happens as it comes. But
yeah. So when the beta moved, was there a season flip in the beta that we've kind of got like historic view of?
so there was a lot longer of a gap. So the beta had a Season 0 effectively, and then for Season 1 to start, they had to just wait for the game to actually go live. So
Sure.
I don't know how long that was from when the season ended, but I think from what I've heard, it was quite a bit of a downtime compared to this.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
although this downtime feels long enough. Obviously, we killed the end boss on this server after 4 days of it going live, so it's like nearly 2 weeks of just waiting.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of how that worked, it's literally just depended on the game going live for global launch.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I guess yeah, we'll soon find out. I'm sure. But
Yep.
yeah, looking forward to it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, in terms of the actual server, a lot of people don't know what the reset means. So,
Yeah.
I know obviously it's quite a heavily talked about topic. So, a lot of people are worried they're going to lose all their heroes, they're going to lose their skills they've put in, but it's not the case. So, I think we should probably just go over what we're going to keep and what we are going to lose going into the new season.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because it also helps people decide what they're going to do for the next week or so. It's an interesting one, right? Because I feel like I like the idea of a reset in terms of okay, we're starting fresh. Everyone's on a level playing field. We're all now got the same goals again. But there's also this kind of towards the end of a season, if you're not already either pushing to complete the last few things or you're like competing in higher level arena stuff, I feel like you end up coming into this slight lull, which is what I'm in right now. Honestly, I'm kind of like I'm just eagerly awaiting the next season,
Yeah.
And yeah, this will probably help people decide, what should you do? Where should you spend your resources right now?
Yeah, exactly. And knowing what you want to be saving as well and what you can just freely burn, I guess,
Yeah,
towards progress was quite useful to help to kind of know.
yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah,
obviously, all of your heroes, they will all stay. Everything you've acquired, any skills you've put into them, if you've got any legendary inspiration, that will all stay. So legendary inspiration is basically the dupe system of this game.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, that's actually cool. So you can freely decide to kind of use your scrolls on whichever heroes you feel like are either your strongest now or ones which you feel like are gonna be part of your stronger teams for season 2.
exactly, yeah. And I think that's one of the most important things to consider at the moment as well. When you're using your scrolls, if you decide to use them now, but kind of before the season starts, look towards what's going to be useful next season. So
Yeah,
as much as we don't know what the content's going to be, we do know the elemental pairings. So if you've got a particularly good tank that's going to be paired with a new element, maybe it's worth booking them, or a healer.
interesting. Yeah.
So
And if you've got scrolls, I assume the scrolls won't just disappear if you haven't used them. So you
no,
could just hang on and wait
yeah, so
if you
they
wanted
they
to.
will all be carried over. So they fall into the kind of paid items category. So all of the
Okay, yeah,
gems, dragon crystals, which is obviously the premium currency that you get from buying stuff,
yeah,
the summon dice, skill scrolls, and also the 2 monthly cards, they will all be rolled over to the new season. So
nice.
effectively, right now you could be saving all of your dice, all of your summons and stuff, just waiting for that new season to hit, ready to summon a load of the new champions.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm personally doing. I've got about, well, hopefully by the start of the season, I should have around 150 dice, which is obviously
really?
not
Wow,
free to play,
wow.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to make for a good, nice, exciting start to the new season. Hopefully,
How much of that is like earned through you grinding out the higher end content
I can show
and
you.
okay.
So I currently have not bought anything since the start of November.
All right.
Everything I bought at the start of November, I spent, and just for clarity as well, I've not received any content creator awards since then either. So
Yeah.
the 12 dice I've got and the 7,888 worm arrow, the only thing they come from is, sorry, I did lie, the daily gem pack. So
Yeah.
if you go to this here, the worm arrow mining warrant, that is the only thing I bought other than the other one, but that's not really gems.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you kind of clear content and you save your stuff each day, you're not using it for summons, you're not using it for scrolls, you're not using it for energy, it does rack up quite nicely. And
Yeah, sure.
like if you look there, 7,888, that's the same as the $100 pack. So
Right. Yeah.
it's obviously
So
quite
so you farm the equivalent of about $100 worth of stuff
yeah,
if you were to buy it. Yeah, interesting.
yeah.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, saving up does definitely make a difference. That saving has been since when did I pull my dice? When Drist came out, I pulled all of my
Yeah.
dice then. So that's what, maybe 2-3 weeks now.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually quite quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
you do get a lot, that's for sure. But in terms of the rest of the stuff that you lose, all of your artifacts that you've acquired throughout the season, they stay, but they will also go to level 1. And the
So that's probably different to what I think some of the perception is. There's a perception that they just get deleted.
yeah, exactly. And I think that kind of creates quite a negative feeling. And it is all in the game for you to find out these things, but it's
Yeah,
not something a lot of people look for. They just kind of
sure.
fear the worst.
So your artifacts get reset to level 0,
Yeah.
and do they re-roll as in substats and main stat? Do you know?
No, so when I say your artifacts, I don't mean your gear. I mean the additional slots.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So if you look here, these items here,
Yeah.
these will all stay, but they will go down to level 0, just like this one
Oh,
here.
okay. So does that mean gear does get deleted?
Gear does get deleted, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing because it means that you don't find yourself farming for that 1% upgrade every season. You kind of work with what you've got. And I personally really like that approach because otherwise you spend...
Yeah, I guess actually now think about it again, it makes sense because if all your heroes become level 1, you can't then put them with legendary gear straight away. It would be
fun.
farce. Yeah,
It
it
would
would
be
be
fun,
fun,
but short-lived.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, your artifacts all stay, but the only difference is obviously the currency you use to upgrade them, that gets retained to a certain degree. So The way that happens is I think it's 70% of the amount you've earned from this season gets carried over to next season. So
Right.
as much as they're getting reset, it's fine because you're going to have the resources to level your core artifacts straight away. And
Oh,
there is
interesting.
some level gating on that. I think it's level 30 before you can take them to the max level. But
Yeah.
as you progress through the game, you will be able to, without even worrying, upgrade the artifacts that you want for your first team. Because realistically, you're building teams with 5 elements anyway, especially, I imagine, in your second season when you've got a good stock of heroes ready to go into it.
Yeah, when you've actually got a squad, yeah.
So you're using 5 heroes of the same element, but they're not gaining that bonus, which is
How long did it
fine.
take you to get to that unlock,
So
say?
for me, I think it was around the 1 month mark, maybe. I
So
can't remember.
before a month, you gain no benefit from using 5 over 3.
No, obviously they did gain the 3 bonuses as well, but they only gained
Yeah,
the 3 bonuses rather than
interesting.
acknowledging that there was 5 of them. So you didn't get the 15% damage and obviously any of this stuff here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but I think a lot
Okay.
of people did unlock it a lot faster than me because they obviously went into the season with heroes that could push things faster than I could.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I imagine
Which
next
again, this
season,
time round, you should be in that place as well because of
exactly,
the
yeah. Like,
roster.
for example, Vortex, people kind of had their Vortex teams set out straight away and they could just dive in and they'd get the obviously leaderboard rewards, which gives you quite a good amount of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this time around I'll have a Vortex team that I can throw in straight away and I won't be learning the game so much. So yeah, I think that's the big thing. Each season it's going to get easier to acquire the rewards for these things, and then it's going to be kind of more focused on pushing the end game further and further every season.
Yeah, and by your own admission, like you've pretty much completed the end game now in this season, right?
I've completed the seasonal stuff. The only thing I haven't completed, and I'll show you, this is incredibly annoying, and obviously I've got time to do this, but it is so hard, is
Right.
this here, Pillar of Trials.
Oh, okay. The one, what you got one more stage to do?
I've
Oh,
got
on two
2
different things.
last bosses left, but I am struggling with them. And I think that's from the fact that I don't have any legendary artifacts. I don't have all of the top tier heroes in the game. I'm missing quite a few. So
Yeah,
I'd like to think I will be able to get through this, but it's going to be hard work.
but that's your last kind of big challenge this
The
time
only
round.
other thing which I'm less concerned about is the meander. I'm at 141 out of 180. I
Yeah,
will do what I can to push this, but it's difficult. But the reason I want to clear Pillar of Trials is because it rewards a legendary artifact. So
right.
does this, but this one's just, in my opinion, slightly less useful.
Okay.
I'd be more
Yeah,
worried about like kind of the odd legendary scroll, the odd Heliolite dice and stuff in this.
yeah. But I
So
guess what we don't know for sure, or maybe you do know it actually, like with these previous encounters, like does this just still exist in season 2 with the
yeah,
same,
so they have
or does all of this get
confirmed.
reset if you've
So
done it once? Like,
this
yeah,
will get reset. You'll be able to do this each season, but what they have
okay,
confirmed is that there's a new boss coming to this. So every 10
right,
stages, if I don't know if I can even go back into one of the older stages. Have a look actually, because it's only I won't be able to do the fight again, so no, we won't. So every 10 stages there's a boss.
yeah,
Currently it's called something like Lady of Greeneries or something. It's puts a load of poison on you, and it's quite hard to begin with until you kind of get the hang of it. But they're going to be changing the boss next season, so it's going to be a boss that, by the sounds of it, has loads of spiders and reduces your healing that you do.
okay,
So obviously we're going to have to kind of take a new approach to that next
yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah.
So I imagine as well the new heroes that come into the game, you'll see them starting to appear in these waves as well, like almost like Doom Tower and Raid did.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, makes
So
sense.
yeah, it's going to be a new challenge, but I'd like to think that next season I'll kind of be more equipped to tackle it a bit further than I have this season.
Interesting. So
Yeah,
that's actually cool. So even though pushed hard this season, you've not been able to complete everything. Obviously, I
yeah.
know you're not like fighting top tier arena and stuff like that.
No,
I don't know if
I'm
that's
not
even
hugely
interesting.
interested
So
in the arena.
yeah,
Um,
um, yeah,
But yeah, I mean, in terms of obviously my account, I've got quite a lot of legendaries, but I'm not by any means stacked. And I obviously legendary skill scrolls are an issue for every player,
yep,
especially new players, because you don't have these books rolling into the new season. So obviously I've booked I think 3 or 4 legendaries this season,
But I
Whereas,
guess the cool thing is the reset means that you can go and beat stuff that you've already beaten, or not necessarily you've already beaten, but it's like the reset means you can go and find new places to farm these books
yeah,
and resources, right? So
exactly. And obviously,
yeah,
everything you've booked from last season will roll over. So you'll be going into it with X amount more booked legendaries than you had the previous season. So
yeah, definitely.
obviously, it's almost like a kind of power creep. Every season, you are going to be that bit stronger. So
It's
yeah,
funny that there's some elements of it which I'm cautious about, and
mhm,
some elements which I absolutely love the idea of it. And
yeah,
it's going to be, I think, a little bit of a Marmite reaction to seasonal change.
yeah,
You know,
I agree.
people either will love it or they won't, or perhaps it will give people a chance to either come back in if they were playing quite casually and maybe go a bit harder,
Yep.
or the opposite. Actually, it might be like someone might take a bit more of a breather in a season if they've been playing it extremely hard and then come back like the next season. So
Well, about that, they do need to be very careful because if you skip a season and don't log in at all throughout it, by the looks of
yeah,
it, you won't be able to join your friends in season 3. You will be stuck playing season 2 on a different server.
okay. So
And
talk us through that. How's that
so
going to work?
this came out in the message they put out in the game the other day. There's not been any kind of clarification on it, but it's kind of sparked a little bit of a concern from me. So if we look here, so obviously as we know that there's going to be server merges happening.
Yeah,
Where is it? Right, so if travelers do not log into the designated server of the new season as it starts, their season progress will not be updated. So the example they've given is if, let's say, Hades, you started the game on server X for season 1,
yeah,
and server X was merged with server Y in season 2, and then server Y merges into server Z in season 3. If you didn't log into the game while it was server Y to start season 2, you can only enter another season 2 server that's opened, so you won't be allowed onto server Z because you've not
okay.
participated in season 2.
So it's literally just a case of a login during the season should
I imagine so. Yeah, I
ensure
think.
that that's. I mean, obviously they're hoping that people will just continue to play season to season,
Yeah,
enjoy the new content, and that makes a lot of sense, you know. But my experience in Raid, I actually see a lot of times people saying, "Oh, I left for 3 months.
yeah,
I've seen this new content, really interested, and I'm coming back."
yeah,
Um, I guess,
exactly.
and in fairness, like when that player comes back, they probably are not going to be in the same clan as they were before, and um, so maybe it wouldn't have that bigger impact. But it's
Yeah,
definitely,
but
yeah, it's definitely a good one to call out. It's definitely a good kind of watch out.
yeah, I think the big thing there is when they come back, they're at least on a level playing field, as in like the same things are available for them.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people might be like, "Oh, I'm going to sit this season out," and then they see that the new season, they see some of the new heroes, some of the new stuff, and they're like, "Wow, I want to play that." They come back and they're forced to play the season that they actually didn't want to play.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That is actually
yeah, I imagine logging in once is
it's
enough.
interesting.
You probably just have to kind of verify yourself on the season 2 server just so that you can be merged onto the new server. So your
Yeah,
game data's there.
yeah, it would make
Um,
sense.
but I don't know exactly. I just see that as being kind of a problem if somebody does want to kind of take a step back just for a season. Something's busy going on in real life. They want 3 months off. They need to make sure they log in. Otherwise, they're not going to carry on with their friends the next season.
Sure.
And from my perspective, I don't see myself taking a break, but I know obviously things do happen. People get busy. These things do happen, and you don't want to then kind of be on the back foot of not being able to carry on with your friends being 3 months behind them at all times, never able to catch them up.
Yeah, yeah, makes
So
sense.
I guess with that, we kind of just need to see what happens. It's
Yeah,
one we don't
interesting.
know.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I guess something we haven't spoken about really is, what's new coming
yeah.
in this season. Um,
So they
like
put
what are you most excited about for the new stuff?
the new heroes for sure.
Yeah.
Well, no, not the new heroes actually. The new damage types. So
Okay.
at the moment in the game, obviously we've got the elemental bonuses. So we've got fire with poison, we've got ice with ice with necrosis, and radiance with lightning.
Yeah.
So that's being flipped. So it's going to be fire with necrosis, ice with radiance, and poison with lightning. And
So even the heroes we've got are going to feel quite different
yeah,
because of their new affinities.
yeah, I think the biggest notable one is going to be ice because right now they have so little in terms of support tanks, whereas they're being paired with Radiance, which has some of the best tanks in the game, some of the best healers in the game. So they're going to go from being kind of this glass cannon that's able to deal huge damage but not sustain themselves to a element that's going to be able to kind of incorporate themselves with some of the best support in the game. And that may see a massive flip on the meta for what people are actually using.
Yeah, interesting.
And
yeah, for sure.
That's the one that excites me the most. But more so than that, each element has a kind of damage type of their own. So Radiance has Rally, Lightning has Dauntless, Fire has Wild, Poison has Poison, Ice has Frost, and Necrosis has Summons. But they're adding 3 new damage types in the new season. So
nice. Okay.
they're adding, I think it's called Burn. It's got to be in here somewhere. Let's find it.
But they're not adding new elemental types.
No. So they're adding 3 new schools of damage. So Burn, Thunderbolt, and Ice Blast. So Fire, Lightning, and Frost will each receive a different kind of area of damage.
Oh, okay, nice.
So as it stands, Wild is kind of like the go-to single target build. So is Dauntless for Lightning, and Frost is kind of AoE nuke damage because, like I said, they can't really sustain a huge amount of time. But with the new changes, Burn coming into Fire is specialized in AoE damage. So they're going to deal AoE kind of ticking damage with, think like almost like HP Burn in Raid. It's going to deal damage to everybody.
Right.
So imagine an AoE burner, effectively. That's how I kind of see this.
Yeah, nice.
And same goes for Thunderbolt. They'll be doing AoE damage. So Lightning will have kind of the option to do AoE damage instead of being pure single target.
And with so are these replacing current abilities then, or is it all additional?
They are going to be completely additional. So we're going to have just a completely separate new 3 schools of damage. So you could effectively build a Lightning team that's got a Dauntless hero, or maybe 2 Dauntless and 1 Thunderbolt. So you've got some AoE coverage, you've got some single target damage. I don't know if there'll be heroes who kind of incorporate both of them. That would be quite cool to see. So say there's a legendary who's coming into the game. I know they're bringing out 3 new exclusive legendaries who have their own special artifact.
Nice.
It would be quite cool to see that they kind of maybe incorporate, like let's say it's a Lightning one, if it has Thunderbolt and Dauntless abilities. So it's useful no matter where you are. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, and the most exciting one, in my opinion, is the Ice Blast because, like I said, all of a sudden, ice is going to be relevant. And now they're getting a new kind of school of damage that's going to specialize in single target damage. So all of a sudden, their value
reminds me of World of Warcraft. As soon as you said Ice Blast, like yeah,
exactly. So yeah, it's all of a sudden their value is just going to skyrocket for dungeons and Vortex if this works well. Obviously, that is, we don't know what it's like, but
yeah,
I am really excited to see what these new elements of damage bring, and it just gives us a different kind of flavor to play through. Like, that is what I'm most excited for personally.
Yeah, cool. That sounds good.
And as well as that, obviously 30 new heroes, and there's 17 new legendary heroes in that. So probably a handful of rares and a few epics.
Again,
as well.
I mean, that's a lot that they're adding in. That's a lot of new heroes.
Yeah, I mean, in season 1, they added, I think it was around 90 heroes from the beta.
Sure.
So it is scaled down, but obviously that was global launch, so they had to kind of really fill out the game, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it really, from season 1 was their proper launch.
Yeah,
and that's actually where they would probably say we're kicking off. So
yeah,
I mean, 30. If they did 30 per season,
yeah.
If you think about it, like that's them creating a new hero every 3 days.
Yeah, it's very
that's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way.
Play. Yeah,
but yeah,
pass rate.
It's exciting because obviously you will have, and as well as that, obviously at the start of the season, I don't know if you've seen, but they do a special summoning event where you can have increased chances to get some of the new heroes. So based on your seasonal ranking, you get these tickets, and they basically guarantee you a legendary every 10 dice for the first. I'm earning 20 personally. So I'll be able to get 2 legendaries off the bat with 20 dice at the start of the season.
Yeah.
But depending on your tier, each of these has a higher chance of giving you some of the new heroes from the new season.
Oh, that's cool as well, yeah.
So you'll be able to get your hands on some of these new cool heroes that kind of have a different play style
And,
straight away.
have we actually seen any of them yet, the new heroes, or are they under
We've
wraps?
seen some visuals, but not much. They've kind of
Yeah.
posted a Thanksgiving post, and it's got some of them in it. But that's about all. We've just kind of seen the cosmetic side of a few of them.
Yeah.
And as well as that, I noticed this. Well, I didn't personally notice it. Odd One noticed it
Sure.
in the game. If you look at the avatars, some of them are here. So this is one of the new exclusive
Okay.
legendaries.
Yeah. Like a new season in this game, it's kind of close to playing a new game.
Yeah, it
Like
really
it's
is.
they've done a lot to change this up, which I like actually. Like probably one of the biggest, I guess, drawbacks or challenges at the moment with this hero collector genre is once you've played for, I don't know, let's call it a year,
Yep,
you've probably done most of the stuff in the game and the game doesn't feel very fresh anymore.
exactly.
So
Yeah. Whereas every
this is
3
quite an interesting
months,
system actually. Like that's why I'm quietly excited about it, but I can also see that some people might be fearful of almost like it feels like I'm starting again, but
it's a
you're
bit like
not really
Marmite, isn't
starting
it?
again.
You're
Yeah.
either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. And
Yeah, exactly that.
right
Yeah.
now, I love the idea of it, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Because obviously the visuals are going to be the same for a lot of the things. Like obviously the bosses are going to look the same, but they're going to
Sure.
be as if you're playing a completely different
But
fight.
they're gonna play differently. Yeah.
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 So I'm really excited to see what they do here, and I hope they make them just a little bit harder. They don't get me wrong, at the start of the game with a limited pool of heroes, they were hard, but everybody
Yeah.
going into season 2 is going to have played season 1. So
So you're kind of gonna need you'll know that you need like your elemental need
yeah,
stuff like that,
so
which maybe you didn't know
it
as
gives
well.
it does give them the chance to kind of creep that power and make it a little bit more of a challenge each time. Maybe not so much the dungeons, but some of the other content they can ramp up because you're going to have more development than you did at this point last season going into it.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool, really exciting, and I can't wait to see what it's like.
For sure. Well, I'm super hyped. Like I feel like it's gonna be a fresh start for me and yeah, I can't wait to get like cracking on with it, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be cool to have you probably on board this time as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I think that's probably about all that we need to cover for season 2, other than waiting for it to actually come out.
Yeah, can't wait.
So if we wrap this up here, obviously everybody please do head over to How Hades' channel, give him a subscribe. Obviously he does have a lot more than me, so if you're watching me, realistically you probably already watch Hades. Obviously coming from HH Gaming, it's been great to get so much support from you guys, so thank you very much for that. But do make sure you check out his channel. He will be posting content for season 2 as well. So yeah, we'll see you soon.